Suzuki's S-Cross compact SUV gains the brand's mild hybrid tech in uprated 48-volt form, and at the same time also gains a fresh K14D series version of the company's 1.4-litre booster jet petrol engine. The electrification claims to deliver a 20% running cost improvement, but otherwise, the S-Cross recipe is much as before. So there's plenty of space for a crossover of this size, lots of kit for the money, and, unusually in this class, the option of a proper lockable four-wheel drive system in the top version.
Electrification is a fact of automotive life these days, and one day soon, every model from every brand will feature it in some way. For the moment though, only one manufacturer has applied electrified power to every car in its lineup, and its identity might surprise you: Suzuki. Now this sounds all very forward thinking, but first you need to appreciate a few caveats. We're not talking about full electric or plug-in models here. Hybrid in this case means what other brands call mild hybrid technology. With this, unlike with those other forms of electrification, the car can't ever run on electric power alone at normal driving speeds, but harvested electrical energy can be used to marginally improve efficiency. Now, the brand introduced this tech in 12-volt form back in 2016 with its little Swift and Ignis models. Now it's uprated the system to 48-volt status and fitted it to its slightly larger cars, including the S-Cross compact SUV, which is our subject here. Now, you may be familiar with the way that mild hybrid engines work, but just in case not, here's a quick recap. And now basically energy which would otherwise be lost when braking or cruising off throttle is harvested via a kinetic energy recovery system and then sent to a small lithium-ion battery that here has been placed beneath the front passenger seat. Now this is used to drive a belt-driven ISG, that's an integrated starter generator unit, and to power the engine stop-start system. Now Suzuki's old 12-volt mild hybrid system didn't do a lot more than that, but this improved 48-volt setup can also deliver a couple of other important benefits. Now the first is something quite unusual amongst current mild hybrids, and that's the ability for this Suzuki to idle and even coast on full electric power, although only below 10 miles an hour. The other fresh benefit here is something that's supposed to be now quite common amongst mild hybrid models, and that's the ability to torque fill under acceleration to compensate for turbo lag. That's just as well because this S-Cross Hybrid's new K14D series 1.4-litre booster jet petrol engine has less power than the unit of the same size that it replaces, 127 bhp instead of 138, plus the car's electrified tech adds 65 kilos of extra weight in the case of the all-grip four-wheel drive version. But there's now more torque. It's up from 230 to 235 newton meters. The 62 miles an hour sprint takes 10.2 seconds en route to 118 miles an hour. There's no longer an automatic gearbox option, and that proper lockable all-grip four-wheel drive system is optional on the top-spec SZ5 variant. There are no visual changes with this S-Cross model switch to hybrid power. It's been on sale since the end of 2013, and the version that we have now is the model that was facelifted at the end of 2016. It remains a mid-sized Qashqai class SUV, which is practically sized, but it's rather forgettable in looks. Now Suzuki has its similarly dimensioned but slightly more dynamically styled Vitara SUV, if that's an issue. Up front, it's an inoffensive but not unpleasant piece of design, and the fixtures and fittings feel well screwed together from the Hungarian factory, although some of the materials are a bit scratchy. The centre dash infotainment screen still has graphics which look a bit aftermarket, but it certainly includes quite a lot with sat-nav and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring, as well as a DAB tuner and Bluetooth. At the rear, the generous 2,600mm wheelbase length frees up plenty of interior room, and there's very decent rear seat space too. Now, although the bench doesn't slide, the backrest does recline through a choice of 2 angles. The twin sunroofs of the top SZ5 model do rob a few centimetres of headroom though. Time to take a look in the boot. Now, it's about 20% bigger than the trunk you'll get in a smaller Super Mini based crossover, a Mocha, an EcoSport and so on. The 430 litre boot is one of the biggest in the class, and you can make good use of the space available thanks to a neat false floor which lifts to reveal hidden storage. There's also a pair of cubbies hidden behind the rear wheel arches here, plus shopping bag hooks and a 12-volt power supply. Only if you need more space than the boot area provides by itself might the S-Cross disappoint, because pushing forward the split folding rear bench only increases your capacity up to 875 litres. That's around half of what you'll get from some rivals. It does help though that if you position the false boot floor properly, you can get a totally flat load bay. As mentioned previously, there's no facility to slide the rear bench backwards and forwards to increase the basic boot space, but as we just mentioned, the backrest here does recline. Now, if you were to put it into an uncomfortably vertical position, then Suzuki says you get an extra 10 litres of trunk capacity. Pricing is quite a bit higher than it used to be for the S-Cross, sitting primarily in the £21,000 to £28,000 bracket. And that's partly because going forward, Suzuki doesn't plan to offer smaller, more affordable engines than this 1.4 litre booster jet hybrid unit in our market. Partly it's because the car these days features a higher standard of spec, adaptive cruise control on all models, for example, and partly it's reflective of the cost of the extra mild hybrid technology. There are 3 trim levels, SZ4, SZT and SZ5. Even base SZ4 trim gives you LED projector headlights, dual zone auto air conditioning, auto headlamps and wipers, 16-inch alloy wheels, front and rear electric windows, heated door mirrors, 7 airbags and radar brake support, autonomous braking. Move up to SZT spec and you also get navigation, 17-inch polished alloy wheels, silver roof rails, skid plates, rear privacy glass, keyless entry and white stitched upholstery. The top SZ5 trim level you have to have if you want the option of all-grip four-wheel drive, gives you a panoramic twin-panel sunroof, heated front seats and leather upholstery. Across the range there's a choice of 6 different paint shades, 5 of those metallic finishes. There is no longer an automatic gearbox option though. Suzuki reckons that the 48-volt mild hybrid tech has delivered improvements in fuel economy and emissions of up to 20%, although because of the switch from NEDC to WLTP cycle ratings, it's difficult to verify that claim with any real accuracy. The WLTP figures show a front-driven version of this model managing 50.1 mpg and 127 grams per kilometre on the combined cycle, while the all-grip four-wheel drive version delivers 45.7 mpg and 139 grams per kilometre. It helps that this remains one of the lightest cars in the crossover class. Even the all-grip variant weighs in at only 1,220 kilos. This car's insurance group is 25D or 26D for the SZ5 manual. Its BIK tax band is rated at 30% or 32% for the all-grip variant. An owner would be paying £165 of VED for the first year of ownership, £205 for the all-grip and £140 of VED from year 2 on. As with all Suzukis, this one is covered by a 3-year 60,000 mile warranty plus a year of AA Suzuki assistance, providing 24-hour UK and European roadside assistance, recovery and associated services. There's also a 12-year perforation warranty. The prominent hybrid badging here might lead you to expect more efficiency benefits than are actually delivered. Suzuki's previous 12-volt mild hybrid technology certainly sometimes left you with that feeling. This S-Cross model's 48-volt mild hybrid setup, though, is an improvement on the previous SHVS system, but its everyday effect on running costs, although welcome, will still be somewhat marginal. But every little helps, and the 48-volt tech is certainly a step forward in the way it better assists with pulling power and allows for fully electrified progress below 10 miles an hour. Now, whether that will be enough to make customers interested in the S-Cross who weren't before is more debatable, but it gives this car an extra selling point, and that is never a bad thing.